Welcome to the 5th seminar in our light tackle marathon. We're dropping a seminar every day leading up to our light tackle sales event coming up April 5th and the 6th, which will feature big discounts throughout the fishery department. And there's also going to be a rod and reel trading benefiting combos for kids. We're also going to have fresh barbecue, kids games, prices, you name it. Bring the kids to start off our actual seminar here. We're excited to have Eddie here with High Octane Custom Baits, and you've been doing this for a while now, and obviously you've been fishing for these things since almost, the start of it. And so we're going to have a couple things on how to fish the upper bay, and we're going to focus on the frogs here. I know a lot of people have a lot of questions, so let's start off with, the basic one is, how do you select a frog based on, your structure or where you're fishing? Give us a couple tips on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of different frogs out there on the market. These are all from high octane, from poppers to bladed frogs, skirted frogs, more walking style, to your classic skirted frogs. So I guess we'll start with, like a walking frog. Like, I'd say this is your most versatile frog out there. So you can throw this around any kind of vegetation, pads. You can throw this in the pads, work it right out. Small profile, so it's not really going to get hung up. You can also use it on grass, really anywhere. I like to throw this, let it sit, just walk it super slow, right around any kind of that structure.
So really versatile frog, essentially, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would be my a walking frog is kind of my go-to, my confidence bait. Yeah.
Gotcha. What about the popping frogs? When will you use those style of frogs? I guess they're a little more aggressive, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think of popping frogs as you got to really pop it hard. And there are a couple of different styles where a Popzilla here is going to have that bigger cupped mouth, or this is one of our newer called the Kaijo hopper, where it's a little bit more subtle pop to it. So I like these in springtime to get a little bit more attention out of those more aggressive fish. Sometimes in the summer, fall, they can get a little spooky after they've been thrown out 100 times. So I go with more of a subtle popper. I also love popping frogs around fry balls. So especially if there's only one parent on there, I'll just pop it super aggressively to really get their attention. You might have to play with them for a little while, but eventually it'll get their attention to
That's a great
draw
tip.
That strike.
That's a great tip. I know a lot of people always ask, hey, I can't catch a fish on the fry ball, and that's a really good tip with getting aggressive with it, for sure. The other thing I guess people ask a lot about is, does color matter?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I have my confident colors you can kind of see out here. It's all in that white, orange, pink range. I always like to start with white and then go to a bright color if that's not working. So an orange, I love orange for the Eastern Shore, especially. And then pink's kind of a great all-around standout color for the Upper Bay, Virginia, really all around.
Is there a way you pick it based on sun? Like how high the sun's up, or if it's, cloudy or clear?
Yeah.
Is there a way how you kind of select the colors based on your day?
Yep. Black's not out here, but we have black as an option. There's a lot of black options out there. That's a great option for super dark or super bright days. It gives more of that shadow. Other colors, based on overcast, more brighter colors with overcast. Really stuff that's going to stand out too based on your vegetation. So don't throw green when you're throwing against green pads. Stuff that's really going to stick out.
Contrast it.
Yeah, contrast.
Gotcha. Absolutely. And that's the other thing too. I know a lot of guys also, when they come in here, they go hey, I've been throwing this frog in, lily pads and it keeps getting hung up, or grass. Is there one that cuts through the grass better than another, or do you recommend them tweaking something on there?
Yeah, they're all weedless, all weedless frogs. A key is just to make sure that hook is pretty close to the body. I'd say they're all very weedless. There's some that, the hook's protrude out more than others. But you know, important things to look at are really strong hooks, making sure you're getting a good hook gap, more of a softer body, and I like, you know, these a little. I usually start with a little bit bigger frogs and then downscale from there.
Gotcha. The other thing we see here is the bladed, you know, frogs. Tell us a little bit about where will you use those and what's the purpose of having the blades there for?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are our new double-bladed ducks here, and we have a couple other bladed options for a little Zilla. It's great for getting attention. You can use this a lot for in the grass, over grass mats. You can use it as a search bait, you know, throw it out there and, you know, buzz it back to try to get some attention of a snake where they'll move or you can see them move, and then you can maybe throw back something else to really get them to strike. Or just pulling this along, lily pads, stuff like that, that clack there really gets their attention.
So the noise is different.
Yep, and gets them to draws more of a strikeout.
Gotcha. Is the movement, like, I guess, as close to as buzz bait or just a little more subtle on those?
A little more subtle. You can do a straight retrieve, or a lot of guys I've seen, and I've been doing it, is more of a tap pause, which is a little bit more unconventional, or you wouldn't think of for a bladed frog. But if it's sitting there and the snake's right behind it, you don't even know it, and it's just clacking when that tap pause, that can help draw the strike a lot.
That's awesome. There's another thing I guess people always have questions on, which is the skirt. Do you want to have a long skirt, a shorter skirt? Do you have any tips on that, on cutting it or, you know, keeping it long? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you can cut them to your preference. Ours are kind of right in that kind of standard range. A lot of guys I've seen will cut one side, and that actually does help walk the frog a little bit easier. I like it, you know, not too long. I'd say that's about as short as I would go. And then on here, that's about as long as I can go. I know there's some other frogs on the market that are, they do come pretty long. And that's actually meant for you to trim them down, not to throw it with a foot skirt out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things we see on some of the other frogs. They're massive, so you're right. Cut them down a little bit. The other thing with these, it's going to be, I will say, the weight. I know some guys want something that's kind of, you know, small, but they can't cast it really far out there. Do you add anything to it? Any other things to make them heavier, or just keep it the same? I know some guys go under the water and, like, you know, I guess get water in them.
Right.
Any tips on that?
They're all designed to be thrown as is, really. So they are like this, even these two, this has a decent amount of weight to it, so you can fling that pretty far for a small frog. You know, that's got a decent weight to it, so you can really chuck it out there, as well as
nice.
Some of these other
pre-weighed,
ones.
Nice.
Yeah, so they all are ready to go. You know, most of them sit at that 45 degree-ish angle, which is really what you want. You don't want them, you know, straight up and down. You want them at that angle when they're sitting in the water.
Right.
So yeah.
Does it help with the hook set, I guess, when it's on that
it does.
angle?
Yep. Because when they're, you know, more sitting like that, more at an angle, the fish can come up and grab just that back part rather than kind of targeting the whole frog there.
Nice. That's a great tip, because I know sometimes we sit there and our frogs are doing all kinds of things, so we know where to base it off. I know a lot of guys don't know that, so that's a great tip with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially when you're fishing these things, you know, there's so many options out there, so this is great for them to know when to throw what. Another thing with these is, I know some guys have asked if these will actually help you catch more fish. The bladed ones will help you catch more fish around the fry balls if you just sit there and, I guess, twitch it. Have you ever experimented with that?
Yeah, I have. More and more frogs are coming with skirts and blades for that purpose. Because,
like both of them?
Yeah, both of them together, kind of like the little Zilla there. But yes, I think any kind of clacking, any kind of jingle or anything like that, any kind of flash can definitely get their attention a little bit more, especially in the later part of the year when they're really a little finickier. In the spring, I wouldn't say you can throw anything at them, but they're less picky in the spring.
Gotcha.
They're pretty eager to eat. That's why I also always start with pretty much a average to larger frog, and then I'll scale down to a smaller frog if I don't feel like they're committing to the big frog.
So that's a great tip. Always have a finesse bait, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like they say, if it gets stuffer out there, always downsize.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a great tip.
Yeah.
I think any other tips you want to give us on that?
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps a lot of it up. I appreciate
Nice.
you guys, and just check
thank you,
them out.
Eddie. I know. Check out Eddie. I know he makes a lot of great stuff. Have some of his stuff in the store, and we're probably going to be adding some new additions with these new items. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you.